Hello there. I hope that you are safe and well. Today is a very exciting day because we are continuing our 4-part series of transformational change. This is obviously a monumental time for all of us regarding change and the need for transformational change. We've kicked off our 4-part series last week with part 1, individual transition and change. In this video, we will address part 2, steps to developing an effective change leadership strategy. And then next week, we'll address the pitfalls to avoid in leading change successfully. Lastly, we will address in that 4th week the ways to increase change maturity throughout our organizations. So today's topic is very important because any change management starts with a change strategy that comes from leadership. If the change strategy is faulty, any attempt to effectively manage that change will encounter problems. The change leadership strategy is the foundation of the house that is built through change management. If you've ever seen a structure built before, then you know that a faulty foundation will lead to critical problems throughout the building of that structure. So there's 9 very important elements to address when developing the change leadership strategy, and we're going to get into those right now. So number 1 is understanding your burning platform. That's the reason why you need to make that change happen. Understand the burning platform and, metaphorically speaking, how much fire really and truly actually exists. The burning platform is the largest reason for the change. It implies that there's serious danger if that change doesn't happen, and that obviously if it does happen, it's going to be significant benefit. Number 2 is ensuring that the vision and related goals for that change are clear to you and clear to everyone who is going to need to be a support in making the change happen. Borrowing from the wise words of Kotter, there are certain checklists that are needed to ensure that your vision is clear and it makes sense. So making sure your vision is clear and it makes sense includes ensuring that it's simple to understand and it's clearly focused on a specific direction or thing. It is communicable. So that means it's clearly and able to be communicated to others in a way that they easily understand. It is imaginable. It's a believable idea is what that means. If you cannot get others to believe in that idea, then how are you going to get them to participate in it, to support and contribute to it? It takes more than one person to make an organizational transformation happen. And it is desirable. That means that people see what's in it for the organization. And hopefully they see what's in it for them. They can see the benefits. It is feasible. And that means that the vision is doable. So it's not just benefits that are tied to it, but they know you've done your due diligence, you've done your research to ensure that this vision can actually be implemented in a reasonable way successfully. And lastly, you want to ensure that your vision is flexible. A vision is an idea, it's a picture. It's not the implementation itself. So when you're embarking on something new, then you must expect that unexpected to happen. You must anticipate the need to adapt and be flexible. And this is more true the bigger that transformational change is. So number 3, as far as the strategy steps that are needed for change leadership, all alternatives should be identified. Sometimes as leaders, we want to know exactly what we want to do, and we don't want to see any B or C option. And that's fine if your mind is made up, but you want to be educated on those alternatives. You want to ensure that those alternatives have been vetted and compared to the present vision, compared to based upon costs and benefits. You want to do your due diligence, your analysis to ensure that the organization is truly making the best decision and is prepared to address that inevitable skepticism that will arise with almost any transformational change within an organization. Number 4, the sponsors for the transformational effort need to be identified, present, powerful, and known. So these sponsors are champions, and they are heard in order to gain influence and to gain support that is going to be needed. For an organization to make a change that affects the entire workforce, sponsors need to lead that change. Those sponsors need to be well respected, have authority within the organization. Such important authority often includes positioning authority, like a COO, for example, financial authority, like a CFO, or a leader with a significant P&L to support. In this sense, the people respect different elements of authority, and that will help to gain the support that is needed, especially from SMEs throughout the organization, and to buy the right resources that will be needed. The presence of the right sponsors in a change effort can and often will make or break the success of a change. Number 5 in change leadership strategies is the potential investment is very clear. So anyone who has led an enterprise-wide organizational change know that the costs and investments required will fluctuate, oftentimes beyond the initial prediction. So this is why the agile approach is often so popular. However, when we do our due diligence, we can often be at least in the ballpark of what the cost will be. We want to ensure that those investments are aligned with the ballpark costs of what the change will require. And of course, contingency resources are always beneficial for anyone leading transformational change. Given that, we want to understand what the investments will be that are going to be necessary for the change to happen. So this includes the time that will be required, how many people will be needed to work on the effort, what technology will be needed to make it happen, and ultimately what money investments will be needed for success. And number 6 is similar to the sponsors. You will need to choose your entire change team very wisely. The team will typically be made of many teams. You will have the project team that are very hands-on, an advisory team who provides that thought leadership. You may want to ensure that you have the right subject matter experts on these teams, executive teams that will serve as governance, ensuring that regulatory issues and alignment with the overall organization strategy is there. The right champions who will be your power messengers need to be part of your team evangelists, and the right influencers. These are very important elements of your teams in order to institutionalize the change and make it doable for the masses of the organization during the change effort and beyond. Number 7 in change leadership strategy is you want to ensure that your organization chooses the change approach that is right for your organization. The change approach should honor the values of your organization, not go against them. Does the organization make decisions on a consensus basis or top-down basis? Does the organization operate in a highly centralized or decentralized manner? Does leadership keep information close to the chest, or is it more transparent regarding why things are done and what is being done? Does the organization trust the people with the information up front, or do they typically snowball efforts little by little? Regardless of what is deemed right or wrong, you are going to need to ensure that you're going with the grain of the organization and not against it, unless going against the grain is part of an overall cultural transformation in itself. Number 8, like the approach, timing needs to reflect what is doable within the specific organization, its culture, and capacity. The timing should take the level of change maturity of the organization in consideration. We will talk about organizational change maturity in our next video next week. Right now, you want to consider if the change will be incremental or radical. Now, obviously, less change mature organizations may need more incremental change instead of all at once. You want to decide whether the transformational change is going to be immediately implemented or at a later time. Is this a transformation that needs to be sold for a couple of years before it's accepted, or immediately starting to roll out? Is it going to be rolled out very slow or very fast? Again, the change maturity should inform these decisions. Is the timing going to be flexible and adapt to organizational changes, or inflexible and timelines held regardless of what happens? Some organizations think this way. It's a very difficult way to operate, but this is the cultural values of some organizations. Finally, what will be the tolerance for individual transitioning? How much patience will be given for individuals to adapt attitudes and or new capabilities that will be needed for this transformational direction? These are timing approaches that you want to have clear in your change leadership strategy. And finally, number 9, what assumptions can you make at the front end of the change effort? The more assumptions that you understand about what's going on and what's going to happen, the more prepared you will be. You can make assumptions by doing your research, your due diligence, including benchmarking with similar transformations that have taken place. Some transformations that can inform you may be in-house and others perhaps out-house as far as within other organizations. Some examples of assumptions that you will need to be clear on in your implementation includes, will the business model change or stay the same? Will technology systems change or stay the same? Will processes change? Will departments be reorganized? Will you need to augment your workforce? And what about customer training? Well, the customers need to be trained, skilled, and or informed regarding the transformational change that is happening within your organization. Employee training, is that going to be needed? What are the planned business interruptions? What are the unplanned business interruptions? Will there be a specific dollar limit to making this change happen? Will there be a specific time limit? So your assumptions can obviously be endless based upon the needs of your organization, but you do want to be clear regarding what they are. So these are the 9 elements that are necessary for a comprehensive, effective change leadership strategy. To learn more about how to bring change to your organization in an effective way, or to explore the change certification programs for your organization and various classes related to that, check out the more information that is available through the link. You can also, of course, always schedule any time with me. Exploratory session is available complimentary through the links that are available as well. I wish you the best on your transformational change. More than likely you are going through one, just because most organizations are right now, if for no other reason due to COVID. Wish you the best. Share this information with anyone who you believe will benefit, whether it's a colleague or a friend. And have a great day. Take care.